It is NXT Roadblock. We went into this show with the possibility of Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement. We had a street fight with title matches on the line. We had a return from the main roster. That sounds very good, but let's go in, break it down DX style and see if it was very good. But we did kick off this show, which was the 7th of March 2023. And it was, of course, it's labelled NXT Roadblock, so it's kind of like a wee mini, like event that they do. It's not a pay-per-view by any means, but yeah, it's got a wee special name to it. And we did have our first match of the evening, and you know what? This was actually a pretty decent match. We had the Jailhouse Street fight between Tony D'Angelo and D-Jack. I enjoyed this. This is actually a pretty good match, and to kick off the show, it was good. We did have loads of decent wee spots in this, of course, table spots, and it's actually a good feud. And I like both guys in it. It's very rare in WWE, especially NXT, that you get a decent match kicking off the show with two guys you actually don't mind. But it was a good spot where Tony D throws D-Jack into the cage, into the jail, so to speak. But he grabs Stacks, which I thought was pretty interesting. And Tony D has to make the decision what to do. Does he lock him in there to win the match, or does he not do that? But again, he doesn't want to sacrifice Stacks, but I have a lot of potential for this D-Jack guy in the future. He does lose this match, but again, it is because of Stacks being out there. The underboss, so to speak, and Tony D cracks D'Angelo with the crowbar, throws him in, and he wins the match. And I'm glad Tony D's won. I like both guys, as I've said, but I think Tony D kind of had to win this match, in my opinion. Not like if he lost it, like it would have been the complete end of the world, but I feel like he has been getting jobbed out recently quite a lot. So I thought, yeah, boom, we'll give him this wee victory, and I'll be loving life. I'll be moving on. Lovely jubbly, and all that good stuff. We do have Josh Briggs backstage, says that he's becoming skeptical of Kiana James. He's confronting her in the whole office. I actually enjoy these wee segments. They don't add a particularly insane amount, but again, no bad. We do have Pretty Deadly in like this wee balcony thing. They're basically slavering to Gallus. There's references to the wee pool match, all that good stuff, and then they come to blows. Of course, that's setting up that tag team match later on. Not tonight, of course. Later on at the Stand and Deliver pay-per-view. We then have Braun Breaker and the Creed brothers taking on in Das Sheer. It was an alright 3-on-3 match, a 6-man tag. Again, I didn't really think there was going to be anything else particularly great about this concept of match, but again, the Creed brothers I've never rated, and this year it is kind of just jobbers. I mean, I don't mind Braun Breaker, I don't mind the big man Mahal, but again, it leaves a lot to be desired, and I kind of thought we were going to get a Braun Breaker and Jinder Mahal feud, but we're not getting that, guys. We're definitely not getting that. But what we do get next, right? What we do get next, let's dive straight into it. We do have the Heartbreak Kid and Shawn Michaels. And Shawn Michaels, no, he's the same guy, but we have Johnny Gargano returning in this segment. But we do have, before that, Grayson Waller. He's basically trying to, force Shawn Michaels' hand. He's trying to get him to come out of retirement, which, I mean, I'd absolutely love Shawn Michaels have another match, even though, his last match was perfect. But he kind of, well, not the Crown Jewel one, the one with Undertaker. But here, he's like, I've had better guys ask me to come out of retirement, and I'm not going to do it for you. Kind of running down Grayson Waller. And then, the crowd aren't even too bothered by this. Like, Michael says, I'm going to get another guy who loves NXT more than I do to come and fight you. And here he is. And it's the return of Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano. And I'll admit, the crowd did go a bit hyper for this. But I think it's a bad day and age that the crowd... I genuinely think the marks would rather see Johnny Gargano take on Grayson Waller than Shawn Michaels. I genuinely believe that. And again, this kind of just proves the fact that Johnny Gargano's not good enough. He's been up to the main roster. He's been absolute garbage, let's be real. He's been roaming about with The Miz, and, Alpha Academy doing hee-haw. The guy's a bum, right? He's never going to amount to anything on the main roster. Just like Ciampa. Yeah, they can wrestle 5-star matches according to Dave Meltzer on NXT, but when it comes to the real fucking stuff on the main roster, they suck, right? And they absolutely suck. And if Grayson Waller loses to this guy, I won't be a very happy bunny. But yeah, we went in with the potential of Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement. It was not really going to happen, like, if we're being honest. But again, I wouldn't have minded it. Because who would mind Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement for one more match? Probably all your NXT fanboys. We then have Gigi Dolan taking on Jacy Jayne, which of course, a lot of feud, a lot of hype going into this, but I just don't see any of these two as like main eventers. I don't. The feud maybe warrants a more like, you know, impactful match, but in my opinion, I just didn't really care about it in the slightest. I mean, Gigi Dolan wins, then after the match, Jacy Jayne with a beat down, chair in the neck, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Then we do get a match being set up for stand up and deliver. Stand and deliver. We have Braun Breaker, we have Carmelo Hayes in the ring. They're referencing this whole pep talk they got on the 5th of August 2021, where it was labelled that these two were the future of NXT, and yeah, they basically kind of just kiss each other's ass here in this like 3-minute clip. And then Carmelo Hayes, remember, Braun, I play second fiddle to nobody. I'm the man. And yeah, shake of hands. And that'll be a good match, and I think these guys are just destined to move on to the main roster after Mania. But again, if Carmelo Hayes defeats Braun Breaker, which I think probably will happen, because then that'll move Breaker onto the main roster. I don't think both of them would go, but I think if Braun Breaker wins, I think you've got to move Carmelo Hayes on. Because as he says, he's kind of done it all there. We then have Chase University. In action, we've big Chase, Andre Chase, taking on Joe Gacy. Via heel though during this match like conquers our fear of schism, but you can clearly see during this match that Duke Hudson is livid at the fact that they've picked up another L, and backstage he runs down Tia Hale, he runs down Andre Chase, says that we're a bunch of losers, you gave an award to one of us winning a match, which is absolutely right. They are a bunch of jobbers, and I've said this for weeks and months and fucking almost years at this point. Like, for as funny as Andre Chase is and the whole concept is, they cannot buy a win. They truly can't. So yeah, he basically looks like he's split up for Chase University, and I didn't really think that would last very long. We then have Isla Dawn and Alba Fire backstage performing a full moon ritual. Just two bums. Alba Fire absolutely sucks, to be honest. Then some guy in the crowd, I can't actually remember his name, some guy with a mask, I think it was Lee or something, Master Lee. If I plucked that name out of anywhere, who knows. He shows up to confront Wesley, can't be Master Lee. Where was I getting Master Lee from? But Wesley, you know, he wants to issue another challenge, and then comes this guy with a mask, who I believe was in the crowd. Is it XM though? I'm not 100% sure on the matter. We then have Tony D backstage. Cutting a promo, says that he will defend and protect his family no matter what, and they drive off because the Dawn of NXT has picked up a victory here. Roxanne Perez against Miko Satomura in the main event here for the NXT Women's Championship again. How is this like main event worthy? Like, come on. Like, women have main evented, and you know what? When Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair are main eventing, when you look at that Mania card, it's fucking hard to really put a match above it if we're being real. But here, should this really be main eventing? Some Japanese grandma, so to speak, and Roxanne Perez. I'm not too sure. Roxanne Perez wins because, of course so, right? And then after the match, her and Sato Mura, they're raising hands together, and then Roxanne Perez with the funniest fake collapse to the ground that you will ever see. Who's buying this? Who is buying this whatsoever? I mean, even the way she fell, it was so safe. Like, seeing people collapse, right? I mean, I don't want to go on a conspiracy theory here or whatever, but, you know, this wasn't your typical, they've had a heart attack because they got the COVID vaccine. No, this was just, alright, I need to fall here because this is a TV show. God damn it. Out come the EMTs, the rest like, oh, Mito, you've got to get back, all this stuff. It just looks so funny, so fake. They then put her on, and the whole process of doing it took far too long. I mean, if this was legit, or whatever. I don't even know what they're trying to say here, but Shawn Michaels even comes out, he's putting the oxygen mask on her face, and again, like if this was legit, Shawn Michaels would not be putting an oxygen mask on her face, and then like the camera's showing her getting lifted into an ambulance. I mean, it'll probably just come out next week. Oh, it was dehydration, it was hydration. You know, again, who knows? But everyone commenting, marking out about this match, no, no, and then yeah, it's all fake. People are saying, trying to actually believe this, that this is actually real. It's fake. It's just the work troops, right? I mean, we did make a fid earlier. Well, I made the fid saying about Wardlow's car getting broke into, and apparently that's a work. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. But then again, I might actually buy it because I did say in that video that I don't think anyone out there would be fucking stupid enough to break into a car for an AEW championship. So maybe I'm right, troops. But anyway, that's going to do it for your NXT Roadblock review. Some decent stuff, but very phony ending, man. I wasn't a fan of this ending whatsoever. So I'm going to give this show, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. So till next time, there was no John Cena on it to bump the rating up whatsoever, so I'll have to leave you till next week. But until then, next week, the next show, I don't know, I'll review Dynamite, maybe.